It's not by chance that you're viewing this video. There's a reason you're here. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust the timing of your life and know that you're being led to where you're meant to be. As you stumble on this video, perhaps not by chance, it will serve to awaken your spirit. You are not an ordinary person. You have felt this for a long time. People may have called you crazy, too sensitive, too ambitious, or not good enough. But deep inside, you always believed you were meant for something greater. This message is not just to inspire you, it is to wake you up. The struggles you went through, like pain, rejection, and failure, were not punishments. They were signs. What if I told you that your biggest enemy was not the world, your critics, or the problems in your way? What if the biggest threat to your future was the quiet voice inside you that said, "You can't"? This is your wake-up call. It's time to quiet your true enemy, your self-doubt. Let's break this into 7 simple parts. Each part will reveal a truth about who you are and what has been holding you back. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe. This message is not just a video, it's a divine moment. It's a spiritual sign for those who are ready to face the real battle, the one inside. If this message speaks to your spirit, type 77 in the comments. That number is not random. It is a holy sign, a message to God and the universe that you are not just watching, you are waking up. You are ready to move past the voice of doubt inside you. Not everyone will finish this video. Some people will scroll away, some will leave. But the truly chosen ones, the ones who are tired of being small and letting fear control them, they will stay. And those who stay will receive clarity, a fresh awakening, and a deeper understanding that was always inside them. This message is not just something you hear once and forget. It is a living truth. Each time you come back to it, you will hear something new, something your heart wasn't ready to hear before. You will catch a word, a clue, or a truth that helps you grow. This is not just a message, it is a mirror. When a chosen one looks in the mirror and sees the truth, the real enemy has no power. Now let's begin. Chapter 1. The Awakening. You were never ordinary. You've always felt different. Maybe it started when you were a child, even before you knew how to explain it. While others played and laughed, you were thinking deeply. You asked big questions for your age. Something in you always wanted more. Not more things, but more meaning. You were searching for something deeper, something eternal, a reason, a purpose. That feeling, that quiet ache in your heart, telling you there is more to life, was real. It wasn't your imagination, it wasn't a lie, it was from God. God placed greatness inside you before you could understand it. Before you knew how to dream or believe, He had already written your story. You were chosen, not because you were better, but because you were called. Those who are called must be prepared. That is why your life has not been easy. You never fit in, and that's because you weren't meant to. People may have misunderstood you. They said you were too quiet, too loud, too deep, or too sensitive. They told you to relax, but you couldn't. You were born with a special awareness. You could feel energy. You saw pain behind people's smiles. You carried heavy feelings that weren't even yours, but you carried them anyway, because deep down, you were carrying purpose. Chosen ones are marked early in life. Chosen ones are marked early. The calling often shows up during lonely times, in struggles, and when life feels like it's falling apart. You've spent years wondering why you feel different. It's because you weren't made to fit in. You were made to change things. But with the calling comes challenge. You may have asked, if I'm chosen, why is life so hard? It's because chosen ones face the hardest tests. Your pain wasn't a punishment, it was preparation. Your struggles weren't bad luck, they were lessons. Your heartbreaks weren't delays, they were God's way of guiding you. The greater the purpose, the bigger the fight. Before David fought Goliath, he was alone in the field. Before Joseph ruled in Egypt, he was thrown into a pit. Before Jesus showed his power, he went into the wilderness. The wilderness is not a place of rejection, it is a place of training. There your character grows, your wisdom becomes stronger, and your true self is shaped. This doesn't happen through praise, but through truth. You've lost friends. You've walked alone. You've cried at night. You've been hurt and doubted. But you're still here. Why? Because you were never meant to be ordinary. That feeling in your heart pulling you forward is not your imagination. It is your calling. It is God reminding you that you are made for more. The world tells you to follow the crowd, but deep down you know you weren't born just to live a normal life. You were born to make a difference. That's why a normal life never felt right to you. You were made to live a supernatural life. Don't let hard times make you think you're not chosen. The struggle is proof that you are. You were set apart to be prepared. Yes, it's hard, but it also gives you power. This power doesn't come from fame or money. It comes from God's presence and your purpose. This is not just a motivational speech. It is a spiritual reminder of who you are. It is a call to return to your true self. You were never made to be normal. You were chosen for something greater. It's time to remember that. People may not understand you. The journey may be tough. You may feel doubt. But don't let that doubt stay. The real you, the awakened you, is rising, and your life will never be the same again. Chapter 2. The Silent Assassin. Inner doubts are like a quiet voice. You have fought battles no one else saw. Not just the big problems, but the silent inner struggles. These battles happen behind closed doors. They didn't leave marks on your body, but they hurt your heart. This is where the real enemy hides. Not outside of you, but inside. Doubt is the silent assassin. It doesn't shout, it whispers, it stops you just enough. It makes you question yourself. It waits until you're about to move forward. Just when it's time to act, it shows up. It says things like, "You're not ready. What if you fail? Who do you think you are?" People like you don't do things like that. You start to believe it, not because it's loud, but because it sounds like your own thoughts. It copies your voice. It uses your past memories. It hides as logic and reason. It seems like wisdom, but it's actually fear in disguise. Don't be fooled. Doubt is not your inner voice or your gut feeling. It is not there to protect you. It is a lie that wants to keep you small. You were never meant to live in hesitation. The enemy knows he cannot destroy you, so he tries to distract you. He tries to delay you. He makes you think that playing it safe is wise. He tells you that waiting is smart. He wants you to believe that shrinking is humble. But none of that is true. You were not born to shrink. You were born to rise. Every time you hesitated or second-guessed yourself, doubt was there. When you walked away from something meant for you, doubt was at the door. If you don't face this doubt, it will become your story. You will wonder what might have happened if you had acted in faith. Inner doubt doesn't just slow your purpose. It disconnects you from your power. It traps you in cycles. You almost start. You almost believe. You almost change. But almost is not enough. You were created to finish things. You were made to walk in your full purpose. You don't need to feel confident to move. You only need to answer the call. Your obedience is stronger than your fear. The enemy doesn't want you to know this truth. Every time you choose faith instead of fear, doubt becomes weaker. Each time you take a step forward, even if you are scared, you build strength. That strength becomes momentum. Momentum is dangerous to doubt. Once you start moving, the lies lose power. Chosen ones are not without fear. They are full of faith. They keep going even when fear speaks. They move forward anyway. They speak even when their voice shakes. They take action even when they feel unqualified. Now, when doubt whispers, you answer. You say, "This is my season. I will not shrink. I was born to rise." You have come too far. You have survived too much. You have grown too deep. You cannot let a lie stop you now. Inner doubt had its place, but its time is over. The real you is waking up. The voice of doubt is about to go quiet. Chapter 3. The Cost of Silence. What doubt has stolen. Let's be honest, doubt has taken things from you. Not just chances or moments, but parts. So, dreams that once excited you have faded. You had ideas but talked yourself out of them. There's a version of you that never came to life because of fear and hesitation. Doubt doesn't always shout. It doesn't always look like failure. Sometimes it hides in silence or stillness. It's the "I'll do it tomorrow" that becomes years. Then one day you realize you built your life avoiding what you were meant to do. Think about it. The job you didn't go for because you felt unqualified. The relationship you didn't fight for because you felt unworthy. The dream you gave up because it didn't seem realistic. The words you didn't speak because you feared what people might say. The purpose you delayed because doubt said, "Not yet." What makes it harder is that regret isn't always loud. It's not always a big breakdown or a huge mistake. Sometimes regret is quiet. It feels like a small, constant ache. It waits in the silence. It shows up when you realize time has passed and you haven't moved. You tell yourself maybe it wasn't meant to be. But deep down you know that's not true. You know you gave up too soon. That's the real danger of doubt. It doesn't just slow you down. It tricks you. It makes you accept less and call it wisdom. It tells you that staying small is safe. It says living an average life is the smart choice. It tells you that hiding your gift is being humble. You believed it, not because you were weak, but because you were hurt. At some point, someone's words changed how you saw yourself. A past mistake made you lose confidence. A closed door made you stop trying. Over time, you started to shrink. But here's what you may not know. Your silence has a cost. Every time you shrink, the world loses some of your light. Every time you hold back, someone misses the blessing only you were meant to bring. Doubt doesn't just steal your dreams. It also affects the people connected to your purpose. Chosen ones don't dream just for themselves. Their purpose is for generations. It is spiritual. It is bigger than one job, one chance, or one relationship. That's why doubt fights you so much. Because if you ever fully lived in your truth, if you used your voice, your gifts, and your calling, the impact would be powerful. But here's the good news. You're not too late. If you're reading this, the door is still open. God is not finished with you. You didn't miss your moment. You are being called again. Every delay can still be used. Every mistake can still be turned around. God is good at fixing what was lost. But you must be honest. Look at what doubt has cost you. Not to feel shame, but to make a change. Staying silent is no longer okay. God didn't choose you to live a small life. You were chosen to make a difference, to lead, to create, to heal, to speak, and to build something that lasts. If you are still alive, your purpose is not over. It's not too late to write that book. It's not too late to change your job. It's not too late to forgive yourself. And still, it's not too late to become who you were meant to be. But you must decide right now that doubt will not steal another part of your life. Chapter 4, Breaking the Agreement. You don't have to believe that voice of doubt. Here's the good news. This can change your whole life if you accept it. Doubt may have lied to you for years, but you don't have to agree with those lies anymore. Many people think they need to feel ready before they act, before they start, speak, or follow God. They wait for fear to go away before they walk in their purpose. But that's not how it works. Chosen people don't act because they have no fear. They act because they have faith. Faith doesn't mean you have no fear. Faith means you choose to believe what God says, even when fear feels louder. It means you trust the truth over your emotions. For too long, you have silently agreed with doubt. Now it's time to break that agreement. You didn't mean to, but every time you repeated doubt's lies, "I'm not ready. I'm not qualified. I'm not enough." You gave those lies power. Every time you paused because of fear, stayed silent to avoid conflict, or made yourself smaller to keep others comfortable, you were saying yes to doubt without even knowing it. But that agreement is not permanent. You can break it today. It starts with a choice, a mental, emotional, and spiritual shift. You stop repeating lies and start speaking truth. You stop agreeing with fear and start agreeing with faith. Here's the truth. You are capable. You are worthy. You are enough. You were chosen on purpose, not by accident. You carry something the world needs. You are not too late, not too broken, and not too far gone. You don't need 100 more signs to move forward. You don't need to know every detail. What you need is the courage to take one bold step. Even if your hands shake, even if your voice trembles, even if you feel afraid, fear does not disqualify you. Let that truth sink in. Fear is not the end. It is an opportunity. It is a chance to obey God, even when it's hard. Obedience and fear build strength. It's what slowly silences doubt. You don't wait until you feel brave. You show up anyway. You were not made to live in fear. You were not made to follow lies. You were made to lead. You were made to bring light into dark places. You were made to use your voice, your gifts, and your presence to bring heaven to earth. That voice of doubt no longer has control. From this moment on, you break the old agreement. You reject the old identity. You stop believing the lie that says you're not enough, and you accept a new truth. I am who God says I am. Say it, write it, repeat it every time doubt returns. I am chosen. I am equipped. I am ready. I am not too late. I am walking in purpose, even if I walk afraid. This is your shift. This is your moment. The old agreement ends now. A new chapter begins. Rooted in faith, strength, and truth. Chapter 5, Faith in Action, How Chosen Ones Fight Back. Chosen ones don't sit and wait for things to change. They don't hide behind fear, hoping a miracle will just appear. Yes, they pray. Yes, they ask God for guidance. But after that, they take action. They know faith without action is not complete. They understand that real faith shows through obedience. You don't defeat doubt by thinking too much. You don't win against fear by trying to reason with it. You fight back by doing the thing doubt said you couldn't do. You act even when you feel afraid. That means you speak up, even if your voice shakes. You act even if you fear being misunderstood. You apply for the job even if you feel unqualified or lack experience. You open your heart again, even though you've been hurt before. You step into leadership, even if you feel unworthy or not ready. You create, you build, you give. You show up again and again, even when the voice in your head says you're not enough. Here's the truth. Every time you take a step in faith, you weaken doubt. Each bold move breaks down the fear that tried to trap you. Every decision made in faith is a fight against the enemy's lies. In this battle, you are winning. Not because you are perfect, but because you keep going. This kind of boldness is not pride. It is alignment with who God says you are. You're not trying to prove yourself. You're stepping into the identity God already gave you. This is you agreeing with who you were created to be, the design God spoke over your life before you were born. That version of you, bold, confident, focused, full of faith, has always been there. Doubt just buried it. But now you are digging it out. You are taking back what belongs to you. Will you win every battle? No. Some days you will fall. Some days fear will feel louder than your faith. But here's the truth. You don't need to win every battle to win the war. Every small step forward is a victory. Each act of obedience takes back ground. Every time you obey, you say, doubt doesn't control me anymore. You don't need to feel strong to be strong. You need to be consistent. Choose faith over fear. Choose truth over lies. Choose action over waiting. Doubt grows in delay. It gets stronger when you stay still. It spreads when you wait for the perfect time. But doubt dies when you move. It dies when you do the thing, even while afraid. It dies when you take the leap, even without seeing the net. It dies when you stop letting fear control your story. Here is the truth. Doubt cannot survive where faith is active. If you want to silence the voice that says, I can't, then prove it wrong. Do what it said you couldn't do. Go where it said you wouldn't go. Become who it said you'd never be. This is how chosen ones fight back. Not with noise, not with perfection, but with action, with obedience, with movement toward their purpose. You have been equipped. You have been chosen. You have been prepared. Now it's time to move. Chapter 6. The Rise, Becoming Who You Were Always Meant to Be. Something changes deeply and forever when a chosen one truly believes. Not just in the mind, not just as a thought, but when belief moves from the head to the heart, when it stops being a wish and becomes a deep knowing. That is when real transformation begins. That is when doubt loses its power, not because it disappears, but because it no longer controls you. You begin to speak with clarity. You stop second-guessing your voice. Your presence carries quiet confidence. Not a loud confidence, but one that earns respect without speaking. Your choices come from vision, not fear. You stop reacting to life. You start shaping environments instead of adjusting to them. You move with purpose, and purpose changes everything. People will notice. Some will feel inspired. They will see your courage and realize they've been holding back. They will hear your voice and find their own. They will see your healing and believe they can be healed too. But not everyone will celebrate. Some will feel afraid. Some will pull away. Some will criticize you. That is not your responsibility. Your job is not to shrink so others feel comfortable. Your job is to rise. When a chosen one rises, everything begins to shift. Even if the change is quiet, even if no one applauds, even if others don't understand, heaven notices. The earth begins to respond. Things shift. Opportunities come. Doors open. Most importantly, you start to recognize yourself again. The real you. The version that was hidden under fear, silence, trauma, and doubt. You begin to see doubt for what it is. Just noise. You still hear it, but it no longer stops you. You've been through too much. You've healed from too much. You've endured too much to turn back now. The power doubt once had is gone, because now you know it never had real power. It only had your agreement. But now, you've taken that agreement back. You don't need to be perfect to rise. You don't need all the answers. What you need is permission, and God already gave it to you. You don't need another sign. You are the sign. You are living proof that purpose is real. You are proof that grace wins. You are proof that doubt can be defeated. You are proof that healing is possible. You are proof that rising is not a dream. It's your assignment. Your job now is not to keep waiting, not to wait for the right mood, not to wait until you feel ready, not to wait until others understand. Now is the time. This is the season. The calling is here. The door is open. All that's left is for you to walk through it. When you rise, something spiritual happens. Your life becomes a message. You speak without words. You become a sign of hope. People start to believe in possibility not because you are perfect, but because you are present, because you showed up, because you overcame what tried to silence you. That's the point. The rise is not just about you. It's also about the ones watching you, hoping you make it. Because if you can rise about the pain, after the fear, after the rejection, then maybe they can too. That's how revival begins. Not with a crowd, but with one person at a time. One chosen one rising in truth, walking in obedience, living with purpose. Now it's your time to rise. Chapter 7, The Legacy, Why You Had to Overcome. Chosen one, listen clearly. This was never just about you. Every struggle you faced had a purpose. Every time you doubted or wanted to give up, it mattered. You were not only fighting for yourself, you were fighting for those connected to you. Your family, your children, your friends, your generation. You are a blueprint. You are a pattern breaker. You are a door opener. Someone else's freedom depends on your obedience. This is why the enemy attacked your mind so strongly. He wasn't only after your confidence, he was after your calling. If you ever fully believed in who you are, if you realized the authority you carry, you would be unstoppable. Now you are starting to believe. You are beginning to see. Everything is changing. Let this be your declaration. No more living small, no more believing lies, no more hiding your purpose. You are the chosen one, not because you are perfect, but because God doesn't choose the qualified. He qualifies the ones he calls. Your greatest enemy was never outside of you. It was the voice inside that said, "You're not enough." But that voice has lost its power. It no longer controls you. Now you rise, not with pride, but with truth. Thanks for watching. Here ends this video. Take a moment to like, share, and subscribe if you find it interesting.